Today I'm asking a question which I imagine most motorcycle riders must think of at least twice a day, or on the other hand maybe not. I'm going to answer it anyway because, well, just because. And that question is, what if our motorcycles were people? What type of people would they be? I know if mine could talk it would be saying, "You're doing my back in, get off me you fat bastard." I'm going to interchange between brands and types of motorcycle a bit here because honestly I can't be bothered to go through every possible combination. Now to start this completely pointless video all in the name of humour, I will tackle the 125s and scooters out there first. And well, there's not really much I can say about these, but pictures speak louder than words, so here you go. And so with the toddlers out of the way, let's move on. Now, oddly enough, we quite often refer to our motorcycles as she. So in the interests of inclusivity, I'm going to give all of these characters a masculine name. You can decide if they are male, female, transgender, transvestite, non-binary, or whatever the people identify as these days. And so to begin, let me introduce you to Chop, a run-of-the-mill Harley cruiser and a character straight out of a biker's ballad. Picture a burly man, a grizzled veteran of the road who's seen more miles than most folks see in a lifetime. Chop's rough exterior is a canvas of ink, tattoos telling tales of open highways, gritty bars, and the kind of stories that get better with each retelling. Chop's retired with the weathered look of a man who's embraced life's adventures head on. His beard a formidable landscape where last night's dinner has become an unintentional culinary relic, serves as a testament to his lapsed attitude towards grooming. He's not one to fuss over a bit of barbecue sauce caught in the whiskers. He'd rather let it marinate for the next meal. The beer belly is a badge of honour for Chop, proof that he's not afraid to indulge in life's pleasures. It's a testament to the full English he polishes off with ease at roadside cafes, washed down with a milky tea and 6 sugars. Yet beneath that beer belly beats the heart of a road warrior, ready to fire up the engine and thunder down the asphalt at a moment's notice. Moving on, let's meet Trevor, the Honda Goldwing who cruises the streets like a two-wheeled declaration of prosperity. Trevor's association with the name might be a mystery, but in the world of motorcycles, he's the embodiment of opulence on 2 wheels. If he's not a trust fund kiddie, he's surely a middle-aged dentist and a maestro of molars. Picture Trevor, a dazzling spectacle of chrome and polished perfection. His sleek design and luxurious features make him the dental crown jewel of motorcycles. He's not just a means of transportation, he's a status symbol on wheels, with a price tag that could easily fund a small country, or at least sponsor a dental hygiene awareness campaign. Despite his awe-inspiring financial portfolio, Trevor isn't one for the hustle and bustle of the road. No, most of his days are spent basking in the glow of his own magnificence, admiring himself in the garage mirror like a two-wheeled narcissist with a penchant for reflection. His metallic sheen is practically a vanity project, and he revels in being a shining beacon of affluence, silently whispering to other motorcycles, "Bow down to the Goldwing." And now on to Skinny Bob, who is a Harley Sportster and the third sibling of the family. Skinny Bob was the result of a wild, spontaneous night out that Fat Bob and his beloved wife had after a few too many rounds in the pub. Skinny Bob wasn't planned, and his older siblings sure do let him know that he was an accident. Nobody really asked for Skinny Bob, and he certainly wasn't part of his parents' master plan. But lo and behold, he turned out to be a bundle of charm and good looks. Skinny Bob has a flair for the unconventional, constantly challenging the norms set by his older siblings. If his brothers and sisters are the well-behaved straight-A dentistry students, then he is the one sneaking out for a midnight ride and leaving a trail of tyre marks that would make his parents gasp. Despite his rebellious streak, there's an undeniable allure to his free-spirited nature. He might not have been planned, but he's got charisma that can't be ignored. It's like the gods decided to throw a curveball into the Harley family tree. Next up is Ronald, who is a Ducati sports bike. Ronald is most definitely a footballer, or for those who strangely believe football should be played with the hands, a soccer player. Ronald's at the top of his game, blessed with good looks and a fine physique, but he's definitely one of them Euro footballers who plays dirty and getting tripped or falling over is more choreographed than a Broadway musical. Whilst Ronald enjoys calling foul at every opportunity, you can't dismiss his charm and skills on the pitch. Despite his penchant for theatrics, Ronald is the charmer of the group. His flair for the dramatic doesn't end on the road, it extends to the garage where he demands branded accessories and a parking spot with a view. Ronald's pit stops are like half-time shows, with him as the star performer and demanding the finest lubricants and oils to keep his engine purring. However, there's a not so glamorous side to Ronald's superstar life. Eczema has become his arch nemesis, and his itchy clutch is a daily struggle. He's been spotted at the pharmacy desperately searching for the right cream and wondering if it comes with a sponsorship deal. Despite the off-pitch eczema drama, Ronald remains the showstopper at any meet, a charismatic player who knows how to turn even the mundane into a performance worthy of the grandest stages.
You just spoiled my makeup!
Next, we move on to Gary, the accountant, who's a Royal Enfield and he's the most fiscally responsible character we meet today. While other bikes are out revving their engines and burning rubber, Gary is quietly idling. He's the only character we talk about today with a savings account. Gary is the bike you want in your garage when times get tough. While other motorcycles might be guzzling premium fuel and burning through their savings on high-speed escapades, Gary is the frugal voice of reason, reminding you that financial prudence is just as important on the open road as it is in the budgeting spreadsheet. So if you see a motorcycle calmly obeying traffic laws and calculating the most cost-effective route, chances are it's Gary, the sensible and economically enlightened accountant. And now on to Mo, the MV Augusta or modern Norton, who is the human embodiment of a money shower. If wealth were glitter, he'd be the guy walking around in a constant shimmer. Mo is so rich that even his shower head dispenses liquid gold, and his morning routine involves picking out which wing of the garage he should park in tonight. Mo is not just wealthy, he's got an ego the size of a small planet. His self-confidence is so inflated that if you attached a string to his head, he could double up as a parade balloon. When he walks into a room, you can almost hear a faint in the background. Mo's the kind of guy who checks his bank balance just to remind himself of how amazing he is. Despite his big-headed antics, you can't help but chuckle at Mo's audacity. He's the guy who thinks humble brag is just a fancy term for bragging, and his autobiography is probably titled Memoirs of the Mega Rich, A Tale of Greatness. So, if you ever need a dose of extravagance and a laugh at someone's over-the-top self-importance, just spend a day in Mo's world, where even the air smells like success and a hint of banknotes. Now let's meet Dave, the council estate lad who's a supermoto with a heart of gold and a wardrobe that looks like it's seen a few paintball battles. Dave's idea of the perfect meal is a pot noodle or microwave pizza, a 5-star feast by council estate standards. His living room doubles as a gym with a sofa that moonlights as a makeshift bench press. Dave's workout routine involves lifting cans of energy drinks and mastering the art of remote control juggling during intense gaming sessions. He once considered joining a fitness class but decided it was easier to just flex in front of the mirror while brushing his teeth. Dave's social life revolves around the local pub where his mates gather for spirited debates about football and the best way to cook a pot noodle, usually fueled by the cheapest lager they can find. He's the guy who can turn a mundane trip to the corner shop for milk into an epic quest. Despite his humble surroundings, Dave's laughter echoes through the council estate like a beacon of joy. He's the lad who can turn a rainy day into a street party. So if you ever find yourself in need of a laugh and a lesson in making the most of life's quirks, just hang out with Dave, the council estate lad, where every day is an adventure in the concrete jungle. What was that? Sorry people, bear with me. What did you say? Oh yeah, thanks. Sorry my friend, that was your motorcycle reminding me to tell you to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. Next up, meet Stan, the middle-aged adventure bike trapped in a never-ending cycle of wanderlust and a fondness for his own comfort zone. Stan has a world map on his wall adorned with colourful pins marking exotic destinations he dreams of visiting. However, these push pins seem to have a gravitational pull that keeps him firmly planted on his well-worn living room couch. His travel preparations are meticulous, involving hours spent browsing travel blogs and packing lists. Stan owns more travel guides than he has fingers, yet he never seems to venture beyond the city limits. Stan's passport is practically a relic, a pristine booklet waiting for stamps that never materialise. His friends joke that his passport has seen more draw time than the light of day. When asked about his next big trip, Stan enthusiastically describes the fascinating destinations he's planning to explore someday, conveniently admitting the fact that someday never seems to arrive. Despite his lack of physical exploration, Stan is a virtual globetrotter. He's the mayor of Google Earth, navigating through distant lands from the comfort of his computer. His Instagram feed is a curated collection of vicarious adventures, scenic landscapes and exotic dishes. So here's to Stan, the armchair adventurer whose grand tales of travels are as entertaining as they are aspirational. His spirit may yearn for distant shores, but for now his most daring expedition involves trying the new coffee blend at the corner cafe, a journey he approaches with the enthusiasm of a seasoned explorer uncovering hidden treasures. And now we meet a jigsaw named Bruce, who's the Aussie surfer bloke who's more comfortable in shorts than a kangaroo in the outback. He's the kind of guy who doesn't own any safety gear, and his wardrobe consists of an impressive array of shorts, t-shirts and flip-flops. Why dress for the slide when you can feel the sun's warmth and the wind in your hair whilst doing a wheelie at 150 plus miles per hour? If Bruce were any more laid back, he'd be horizontal. He's so chill that he even rides in winter with nothing but shorts and a t-shirt. Bruce once tried wearing a one-piece suit to a wedding, but he felt like a penguin and vowed never to take safety seriously again. Bruce's version of small talk revolves around swell forecasts, surfboard wax preferences, and telling people that hungry shark sightings are not a valid excuse to cut a surf session short. Greg, on the other hand, is all the other Japanese sports bikes. Greg is an Olympic gymnast whose sleek design and aerodynamic curves make him a pure athlete, weaving through traffic like a seasoned floor exercise routine. With a roar that echoes the cheers of a stadium, Greg takes to the asphalt with the grace of a gymnast in midair. Greg's morning routine is an orchestrated symphony of engine revs and tyre screeches as he hits the streets, executing manoeuvres that would make a parallel bar routine seem like child's play. He leans into turns like a gymnast in a graceful spin, and his acceleration feels like a perfectly timed vault. Greg has sleek fairings that are adorned with vibrant colours and graphics, somewhat like a leotard, making him the fashion icon of the motorbike world. He once considered adding glitter to his paint job for a touch of extra flair, but decided against it, not wanting to blind fellow riders in the sunlight. Greg's friends look up to him for his agility and precision. He's the leader of the pack, coordinating turns and lane changes with the finesse of a gymnastics routine. On the open road, he's the gymnast soaring through the air, performing feats of two-wheeled acrobatics that leave onlookers in awe. Meet Frank, the BMW motorcycle whose vanity knows no bounds. Frank is not just a two-wheeled marvel, he's a narcissist on wheels, rolling down the street with an ego so inflated it could rival a hot air balloon. His sleek design is a mirror to his self-obsession, and every curve of his frame seems meticulously crafted to reflect his own magnificence. Frank doesn't ride, he struts down the road like a catwalk model, expecting the world to stop and admire his mechanical perfection. His exhaust note isn't just a sound, it's a symphony composed exclusively for his ears. He once caught his own reflection in a shop window and nodded approvingly, as if congratulating himself on being the epitome of motorcycle aesthetics. Frank's sense of entitlement extends to his parking preferences. Forget regular parking spots, Frank demands a VIP space close to the entrance, preferably adorned with a golden plaque that reads, "Reserved for Sir Frank." He once revved his engine disapprovingly at Skinny Bob who parked too close, expressing disdain for the inferior man's choice of parking location. Despite his self-centered nature, Frank does have a soft spot for speed, not because he enjoys the thrill, but because it gives him the opportunity to be the center of attention. Every twist and turn in the road is a chance for Frank to showcase his superior handling skills, as if the asphalt were a stage designed exclusively for his one-man show. And finally we move on to Pete, the naked sports bike who's a bit like that eccentric relative at family gatherings. A tad confused about gender, but still the life of the party. Pete is stripped down to the essentials, cruising the streets without a care in the world, and it seems without a stitch of clothing either. His engine purrs like a contented kitten, but his gender identity is as elusive as a sat-nav signal in a tunnel. Pete's confusion about gender doesn't stop him flaunting his curves after all. He's a naked sports bike, and modesty isn't in his vocabulary. One day he might identify as a badass biker chick, revving his engine with a touch of femininity, and the next day he might embrace his masculine side, tearing down the road with the bravado of a testosterone-fueled sports bike. Despite his gender identity dilemmas, Pete is the life of the motorcycle parade. He once joined a group ride with a rainbow-coloured exhaust, claiming it was his way of celebrating diversity. At stoplights, he engages in spirited conversations with neighbouring bikes, debating the merits of mascara versus engine oil as the ultimate beauty enhancer. And there we have it, folks, another completely pointless video that I hoped at least made you smile. Tell me about your bike and what sort of character it would be in the comments below. And with that said, I thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.